No co-host today. They're all sleeping. And my computer is living on borrowed time. My computer is literally being held together by one of these. I picked it up the other day and the whole thing fell apart. And we don't know how to put it back together, so we're just clipping it with this. And it works. It's working just great. See? I'm here with you today. What the F? It's been a day. And welcome to the Daily Reads book series. It's nice to meet you. My name is Christina, KRIS. And I had a morning. I was in a substitute class this morning, and this was, I think, one of the first or second I've been substituting classes where these were really special ed kids. I've been in classrooms where they could have been labeled slow learners or other learning stuff that made them labeled special education. But this class this morning was the real special ed classroom with autism and Down syndrome and hearing impaired, all the whole spectrum of behavioral things. So anyways, I'm getting over that. That was my morning. I'm here today. I discovered, and I hope you checked out my Star Trek Next Generation recap this morning. I worked really hard on that. I don't have any talents with that, and I ask your patience. I've been doing all that, recapping all the episodes. I wish I could do it live, stream it live and talk about it as it flashed by me, but there's a whole bunch of copyright issues, so you can't get into that. So anyways, this particular one, I've been doing these if-thens. This is episode 14, can you believe it? And I showed a spreadsheet in one of the other videos. I should really show it. But I have this spreadsheet, and it's 11 by 14 paper, and it's got a gazillion different columns in it, and it's a mess. I'm trying to organize it, because as I did stuff, because some columns are longer than the other, like you have your detective, and then and your forensics is like this long. Then you have like your smaller sections, cozy tea, only tea, or smaller sections of witches or something like that. So they're all uneven, and it's just a total mess. I really need to reorganize it. But so this is American Indians, Native American Indians. And I didn't get the new one yet. I'm waiting for I think it's Lost Birds. But we are talking about Tony Hillerman and his daughter Anne Hillerman. And we will get to these two. But if you like these two, if you like this series, this one continuous series, then you might like these others. So welcome to If Then. If you like these guys, maybe you'll like these guys. If Then, episode 14. Don't forget about Flashback Monday, where we talk about 20 or 30 different mystery, historical romance, contemporary romance, sci-fi, paranormal, harlequins, inspirationals. Talk about a slew of different books, give you several ideas for reading. But we're going to start with Laurie Armstrong. I think it's T. Armstrong. I didn't write it. Blood Ties. It's a series of 4 books. The first one is Blood Ties. Given the train wreck my life has become, I earned my cynical attitude. I'm trapped in a dead-end job at the Bear Butte County Sheriff's Office, a position I took out of desperation after the brutal murder of my Lakota half-brother. 3 years have passed, his case is cold, and my coping mechanisms, tequila, cigarettes, and dubious men no longer serve as excuses for my grief who define who I am. Welcome to my world, Julie Collins, harbinger of doom and a sucker for lost causes. So when the body of a 16-year-old white girl surfaces and the details are alarmingly similar to my brother Kevin's, my best pal and local PI admits he'd been hired to find the missing kid before she turned up dead. I roped into helping Kevin tie up loose ends regarding the girl's disappearance, and that when things begin to unravel, lies are revealed, bullets start flying, yet nothing, not even death threats, will stop me from digging for the truth and finding the justice for the girl that my brother was denied. Navajo, that's not one of the, no. Navajo Autumn, R. Allen Chappell. Thomas Begay is found dead drunk under the LA Plata Bridge. Not unusual for Thomas Begay, which is unusual is BIA investigator Patsy Grayhorse found lying beside him, not drunk or even a Navajo, but dead nonetheless. Longtime friend Charlie Yazzie, fresh from law school, risks his career and even his life to help his old schoolmate. The answer seems to lie with the Yenalaushi, should one choose to believe in such things. In the far reaches of the reservation, there are still Navajos living their lives with few concessions to modern Moors. Guided by their strong sense of cultural heritage, these outliers remain a strong anchor for the Navajo Nation. This story follows the lives of such people caught up in a plot that could have far-reaching implications for the entire tribe. Margaret Cole. On the windswept plains of Wyoming Wind River Reservation, the Eagle Catcher, the first in the Wind series. On the windswept plains of Wyoming Wind River Reservation, Arapahoes have gathered for Ethete Powwow. It is a sacred time to reaffirm the balance and harmony of life, but these feelings of unity quickly give way to fear when the tribal chairman is found murdered and every bit of evidence points to his nephew Anthony Castle. There are two people who don't believe the young man capable of murder. Father John O'Malley, history scholar and pastor of St. Francis Mission, and Vicky Holden, an attorney who has recently returned to the reservation to help the people. Their investigation draws Father John and Vicky across the high plains of the Wind River Reservation, from the intimate Arapaho community centers to a Byzantine world of incalculable corruption, and finally into the past. It is here in the old time that Father John catches a rare glimpse into the Arapaho life few outsiders ever see, and a crime few could imagine. The Shaman Sings, James D. Doss. Daisy Peckera has no place in the modern world of cold, rational science. Hers is the realm of the spirit of ancient and sacred magic. But visions of coyote and fire have awakened the aged Ute shaman once again to the dark ones working among the whites of the southwest Colorado. For Granite Creek Police Chief Scott Paris, the late-night murder of a brilliant female graduate student is as brutal and baffling as anything he encountered during his years as a Chicago cop. Now the investigation is leading Paris into worlds he's never known, and toward a remarkable alliance with a beautiful journalist and an elderly Native American mystic that could prove both enlightening and deadly. Time to Wail, Grace Castle. Ellie Castle returns to her childhood home on the Siletz Indian Reservation to bury her son. She's prepared to spend the next few months struggling with her grief before even thinking about moving on with her life. But when former investigator is hired by the tribal council to investigate grave robberies, Ellie begins to wonder if they're connected to the murder of her aunt, a crime for which her cousin sits in prison. Which follows is a quest for answers while Ellie faces death threats, a hateful sheriff, an ill-advised attraction to another detective, and the possible revelation of secrets from her past. Tony Hillerman. Where is my notes here? The series created by Tony Hillerman is a collection of, there's 18 books in the series thus far. Well, there are 18 books written by Tony, but then there's an additional 9 or 10, I believe, written by Anne, and we'll get to that. It's a series by two main characters to start. Joe Leaphorn, a seasoned Navajo tribal police lieutenant who is methodical, analytical, and deeply connected to Navajo culture. And Jim Chi, a younger Navajo officer who is spiritual, intuitive, and passionate about preserving Navajo customs. Chi balances his police work with his role as a tradition healer in training. And it follows 18 books. This one is A Thief of Time. A moonlit Indian ruin where thieves of time ravage sacred ground in the name of profit. A noted anthropologist vanishes while on the verge of making a startling, history-altering discovery. Amid stolen goods and the sacred bones, two corpses are discovered, shot by bullets fitting the guns of the missing scientists. There are modern mysteries buried in despoiled ancient places, and Navajo tribal policeman Joe Leaphorn and Jim Chi must plunge into the past to unearth an astonishing truth and cold-hearted murder. And we'll get to Annie in a minute. Then Anne Hillian introduces Officer Bernadette Manuelato, and she also she ends up marrying but she has 9 books. I am waiting for Lost Birds. I'm on the list for that. So we'll see what happens with that. You'll see a review in the next couple of months on that one. So Rock with Wings. Doing a good deed for relative officer offers the opportunity for Sergeant Jim Chi and his wife, Officer Bernadette Manuel, to get away from the daily grind of police work. But 2 cases, one near Shiprock, the other at iconic Monument Valley, will call them back from their short vacation and separate them. Chi follows a series of seemingly random and cryptic clues that lead to a missing woman, a cold-blooded thug, and a mysterious mound of dirt and rocks that could be a gravesite. Bernie has her hands full managing the fallout from a drug bust gone wrong, uncovering the origins of a fire in the middle of nowhere, and looking into an ambitious solar energy development with a long-term consequences for the Navajo. And we've got all 3 of them, Leaphorn, Bernie, and Chi. And the one eventually retires, or semi-retires, but still works out. So if you like these guys, we got some more books to do. If then, Craig Johnson, The Cold Dish. After 25 years as sheriff of Aposa County, Walt Longmire's hopes of finishing out his tenure in peace are dashed when Cody Pritchard is found dead near the Northern Cheyenne Reservation. 2 years earlier, Cody had been one of 4 high school boys given suspended sentences for raping a local Cheyenne girl. Somebody, it would seem, is seeking vengeance, and now Longmire might be the only thing standing between the 3 remaining boys and a Sharps .45 rifle. And This Tender Land, William Kent KRUEGER. In the summer of 1932, on the banks of Minnesota's Gillard River, the Lincoln Indian Training School is a pitless place where Native American children, forcibly separated from their parents, are sent to be educated. It is also home to Obi O'Banion, a lively orphan boy whose exploits constantly earn him the superintendent's wrath. Odie and his brother Albert are the only white faces among the hundreds of Native American children at the school. After committing a terrible crime, Odie and Albert are forced to flee for their lives, along with their best friend Mose, a mute young man of S-I-O-U-X heritage. Sioux. Out of pity, they also take with them a broken-hearted girl named Emmy. Together they steal away in a canoe, heading for the mighty Mississippi in search of a place to call home. KRIS LACKEY, Nails Crossing. There are 4 books in this series. This debut mystery from a fresh voice in Southwestern fiction stakes out the common ground between Tony Hillerman, Elmore Leonard, and Cormac McCarthy. In a remote corner of Chickasaw Nation, tribal lighthorse policeman Bill May Tubby and his county deputy Hannah Bond discover the buzzard-ravaged body of Majesty Tate, a young drifter with a blank past. They comb Oklahoma's rock prairie, river bottoms, and hard-bitten small towns for traces of her last days. Tate was seen dancing with Austin Love, a violent local meth dealer fresh out of prison. An Oklahoma City motel clerk connects her with an aspiring politician. An oil-patched, robust, and a shady itinerant preacher provide dubious leads. Ne'er-do-wells start dying off. A fluke leads propels Tubby deep into Louisiana's bayou, where a Cajun shrimper puts him on the scent of a bizarre conspiracy. Check it out. Jennifer Leeper, The Poison of War. 2 Mexican drug dealers are murdered on Native American soil, and the only clues left behind are 2 single arrowheads in this compelling page-turner of tribal secrets and distrust. When Detective Frank Silva of the Tano-Oham Nation arrived at the scene of the crime, he immediately feared his investigation would require him to turn inward to his own people in search of a killer. A complex web of lies, love, intrigue in the heart of reservation pulls readers into a place and time in limbo straddling the U.S.-Mexican border, which is struggling to retain its heritage and independence. 2 maverick detectives from an intriguing team trusting each other with not only their lives, but with the fate of Tahoe-O'odham Nation in the crime mystery. The Poison of War from award-winning author Jennifer Leeper highlights the Tono Reservation evolving, struggling against the Mexican cartels and their friction with border agents who hold the line stretching across the middle of the reservation. The novella setting of the American Southwest, particularly on the Native American reservation, and the style and cultural background of the detective protagonist draws resemblance to Tony Hillerman's books. So check that out. Robert Westbrook, Howard Moondeer. Once a land of Pueblo dwellers, the town of San Geronimo Peak, Mexico, is prime ski country. Private Eye Howard Moondeer and ex-cop Jack Wilder are headed there to meet their first client, a former U.S. Senator and the ski slope's owner. Instead, they find his body and murder case to solve. Overrun with pleasure seekers, plunderers, and fanatics, San Geronimo has no shortage of suspects. But investigating the senator's 2 very different daughters, his political enemies, and his complex business dealing leads only to false clues. Then the senator's granddaughter is kidnapped, and the new detectives are plunged into a dangerous race for the girl's life and their own. Okay, we did Tony. We got a few more here. Rob Thy Neighbor, Charlie Henry Mystery, David Thurlow. Sorry about the glare. Charlie Henry and his friends have gathered for a cookout on a relaxing Sunday afternoon in Albuquerque. But just as they are about to bite into their burgers, a gunshot rings out next door. Charlie is abruptly brought back to a world he's all too familiar with. He and his best friend Gordon run to the source of the shot. They happen upon 2 masked intruders in their next-door neighbor's house. The men seem to be there to kidnap Sam Randall, the owner of the home. But upon the interruption from Charlie and Gordon, they abandon their mark and get away in a van, vanishing outside. Detective Dupree has been investigating a string of similar home invasions in the area, but this one seems out of the ordinary and doesn't fit the pattern. Sam Randall hires Charlie and Gordon to investigate the crime. Not trusting the police to keep him and his wife safe, Detective Dupree warns Charlie and Gordon not to overstep their bounds in police business, but he needs all the help he can get. As the simple home invasion case continues into something more, it's up to Charlie and Gordon to protect the Randalls and themselves. Murder on the Red River. 1970 Red River Valley between North Dakota and Black Bear is a 19-year-old tough as nails girl where she drives trucks for local farmers, drinks, and helps in criminal investigations through the power of her visions. She has one friend, Sheriff Wheaton, her guardian, who helped her out of the broken foster care system. One Saturday morning, Sheriff Wheaton is called to investigate a pile of wrecks in a field and finds the body of an Indian man. When Cash dreams about the dead man's weathered house on the Red Lake Reservation, she knows that's the place to start looking for answers together. Cash and Wheaton work to solve the murder that stretches across cultures in a rural community traumatized by racism, genocide, and oppression. Hearts of the Missing. Carol POTENZA. When a young woman linked to a list of missing Fire Sky tribal members commits suicide, Pueblo Police Sergeant Nikki Matthews is assigned to the case. Soon Nikki uncovers a thread that strikes at the heart of what it means to be a Fire Sky native. Victims choose and murdered because of their genetic makeup, but those deaths are not about life taken. In a vengeful twist, the killer ensures the spirits of those targeted will wander forever, lost to their family, their people, and their ancestors. When the closest to Nikki are put in jeopardy, she must be willing to sacrifice everything, her career, her life, even her soul, to save the people she's sworn to protect. C.M. Weblow. Death Where the Bad Rocks lives. In Baldlands National Park, there is a desolate area the Lakota referred to as Stronghold. General Custer called it Hell on Earth. During World War II, the Army Corps used it as a bombing range. At the end of the war, many unexploded ordnance was swallowed up in the sweltering sands. But that's not all that's buried there. 65 years after the war, the Sioux tribe had contracted an ordnance removal company to defuse any remaining ammunition in the stronghold. When the company finds a human arm near a live bomb, Tano and the tribal police are called to investigate. As the body is exhumed, two more are discovered. The remains are close together, but the murders were decades apart, and the story behind them is about to blow up. And I did this one. And our final book today, a name you may recognize. She's still doing bestsellers today. Dana Stabenow. She does some mysteries and thrillers. Once Kate Shugak was the star investigator of the Anchorage DA's office. Now she's gone back to her Aleut roots in the far Alaska North, where her talent for detection makes her the toughest crime tracker in this dark and mysterious land. When Alaska Young National Park Ranger disappears during the Alaskan winter, everyone assumes the cold got him, but when an investigator goes in after him and never comes out, the weather may not be all that's killing, or so Kate thinks. With her husky mutt as an ally, she's hunting for answers among the pipeliners, Aleuts, and hardy eccentrics of the rugged American North. But she's heading for thin ice between lies, loyalties, between justice served and the cold face of murder. So check it out. So I hope you like those offerings for this then. Me and my organization here. So Blood Ties, Louis Armstrong, Navajo Nation, R. Allen Chappell, Margaret Cole's book, The Shaman Sings, James D. Ross. Time to Well, Grace Castle. The Tony Hillerman book, the Anne Hillerman book. Greg Johnson, William Kent KRUEGER book. Chris Lackey, Nails Crossing book. Jennifer Leeper, The Poison of War. Robert Westbrook, the Howard Moondeer books. So, if you like my pals here, the Hillermans, then maybe you'll like these. So please hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. I'm trying real hard here. We're going to be investigating some more if-then series. I have a couple more planned, or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. There's millions of different ways to go with this. So please hit the like and subscribe. Thank you. Have a good day.